Okay, everybody, let's go straight on to our next presentation with Kenda Macdonald. Thanks very much, Kenda, for presenting. Kenda actually came to the office at Annika and did an amazing presentation for us, so we wanted to invite her back. So without much further ado, let's pass over to Kenda, and I'll see you in about 25 minutes. Thank you.
Excellent. Hello, everybody. I'm very excited to be here. Now, quick little bit of admin for you guys. If you have any questions or stuff, if you can pop that in the Q&A, that's really helpful for me, just to make sure that I'm keeping an eye on your questions and I know exactly what's going on. And I love interacting with you guys, so do keep the chat going. It's lovely to see all you guys there. All right, guys, so we're going to be taking a look at how to build an engaged list. And specifically, I wanted to show you guys a little bit into the brain. So I wanted to bring a bit of the psychology in and show you guys a little bit of how to build an engaged list that actually suits your consumers' brains. And on top of that, we're going to go through a couple of list building strategies. And if you can hear some gross noises in the background, that's my cat cleaning himself at exactly the right point in time. It's not me, I promise. So we're going to take a look at the individual strategies, and then we're also going to, as we're going through, I'll highlight some of the mistakes that people make. So keep those questions coming through. So to jump right into it, I'm Kenda Macdonald. I am the founder of an agency called Automation Ninjas, and we specialize in behavioral marketing automation. So I bring my background in forensic psychology into the marketing space, and we teach businesses how to create customer journeys that cater for human behavior. And in particular, we're looking at helping people understand how to create better quality leads, how to get higher conversion rates, how to get customers that stick around for longer. That is a gross noise. Please stop making that. How to get customers to stick around for longer, and then how to keep coming back the whole time and creating a really engaged environment for those customers, and then automating that as well. But I also wrote the best-selling book, Hack the Buyer Brain, which is all about how we evolved to survive as a species, and how, therefore, that evolution and our brains actually affects our marketing and the way that our marketing messages land. So there is a big impact on your marketing, and that is my jam, bringing the psychology into everything. So you're going to see that coming through today. But what I really spend most of my day doing is creating customer journeys. I put all of that together in a customer journey, and then we automate it. So let's get straight into list building. And when we talk about list building, I love looking up definitions for things, because I always find in marketing, there are a million definitions for absolutely everything out there. And so I had a little look at the best definition, the Google snippet for what a list was for that day anyway. And it came up with this: a marketing list is a list of current or prospective customers that a business utilizes to increase sales and or brand awareness. And while that is strictly true, it kind of misses the point, because what you're really wanting for a list is you're wanting, yes, a database of people, a collection of people, of contacts and prospects and customers that you want to communicate to, but that's not what it's all about. Really, it's about creating an audience of people that know, like, and trust you and your business. That's the important thing. And on top of that, making sure that you have an audience of people that actually want to hear from you. So that definition doesn't cover that at all. And we want these people to be excited to buy from you repeatedly. And most importantly, we want to make sure that this is the lifeblood of your business, because that's what a list is. It's a way to collect customers, to build engagement, and to create an audience that's really excited to hear from you all the time. So we're going to change that definition a little bit. And really, a list is engaged, owned traffic. And that's really important, getting people off of a social media platform, off of somewhere where algorithms can change and, you know, suddenly you're not in favor anymore, into an environment where they actually want to hear from you. And those people know how you can help them. And on top of that, understands the value that you are providing to them. So that is super important. And then converts repeatedly, right? We want that repeated conversion. So the biggest mistake that I see people making when it comes to creating that ideal definition of what the list is that they don't understand the psychology behind list building. You don't necessarily understand the best way to do it. We're going to rectify that today, and we're going to make sure that we're really getting into the psychology behind it. So really, this goes back to how we evolved as a species. And as humans, we have in-groups and we have out-groups. And the in-groups and out-groups it's a branch of social psychology where they talk about who we trust and who we don't trust. When you're a part of the in-group, we trust you. And if you're a part of the out-group, we don't trust you. The problem is, as businesses, we're always part of the out group. We're part of the audience where people are like, okay, we know you want something from us, so we're not going to explicitly trust you. And so the brain is literally hardwired not to trust who we are. And this is because of something called familiar association. It's the way that we flock together as a species. It's our birds of the feather nature. And what happened as we were evolving as a species is we gathered in groups, and we relied on group intelligence to get through to the next day. So we relied on collecting skill sets as a group and utilizing that to further our evolution. And really, that's why we have such large brains, because we could be together in large groups, which increased our survival. So we have this natural gravitation towards community because it's safe to be in a community. But that also means it comes with the negative side effect, and that is what is not in our community is not safe. So really, we have two parts of the brain that we can thank for this, the amygdala and the mesolimbic system. So the mesolimbic system is the one we want, because the amygdala is the thing that creates fear and distrust. And the amygdala, every time it sees something that is part of the out group, creates a fear and distrust response. Now, generally, that means for businesses, people are always wary of us and always wary of how they're interacting with our content, and they're signing up for things and interacting with our email marketing. So we have to be really careful. What we want to do instead is, rather than having a list of people who are having a fear and distrust response, we want to create an in-group. Because when you're part of the in-group, you get a dopamine hit because you're safe. You're safe with people who trigger your mesolimbic system. So we want to be triggering the mesolimbic system as businesses. And so that's a very basic example of in-group and out-grouping, but we want to start actually utilizing that. So how do you take such an abstract concept and make it a little bit more tangible? So the way that we make that tangible is by keying into psychographics. Because in order to really get through to the mesolimbic system, to create a space that is safe for your audience to be in and they want to be a part of, you have to understand who these people are right down in the core of their being, right? And that's the psychographics. It's not about creating a persona that is just a series of demographic pieces of information. So demographics is stuff like the age range, how much they're earning, whether or not they were educated. That's kind of statistical information about these people. What we're looking for instead is we're looking for psychographical information. This is the type of stuff that makes us human. This is the emotional gumph, right? That makes a human being. So what we're looking for is things like IAO variables. And IAO variables is the easiest way to build a psychographic profile. It's understanding what your audience is really interested in. And I'm not talking about interested in content marketing. Why are they interested in content marketing? You're interested in content marketing because they want more leads. Why are they interested in that? Because they want to do good for their boss. They want to look really good in front of their boss, or they're the business owner and they need to bring in more money so that they can, have a happier business. There is definitely always a deeper level of interest in things. So why is that person interested in that specific thing? What are their attitudes towards that? Is this just a job that they have to do? Or is it something that they're really passionate about? How do they react to those kinds of things? And what are their attitudes in general? And then, of course, what are their opinions? So what opinion do they hold about those kind of things? Understanding your IAO variables means you can start to create content that has the right tonality. It has the right flow. You're talking about the right topics, and you can then take that and combine that with a really powerful content plan to create something that when your audience reads that information, they go, wow, this person really gets me, right? And that's the kind of things that people want to sign up for. And that's the things that we stay engaged with for long periods of time. And then the other thing you can take a look at that's a little bit more tangible is your PMO variables. So your problem, your mindset, and your outcome. What is the problem that your audience is facing right now? So what is the thing that they're potentially researching online or they're looking for that you can help connect them up with, right? So what is the challenge that they're facing at the moment? How aware are they of that challenge? So what's their awareness level when it comes to that problem? Awareness levels are massively important. And what is their mindset around that? What are they thinking as they're going into researching that problem and where they are in their awareness journey, and what outcome do they need to achieve? If you can connect the mindset and the outcome, you can create content that not only is really keyed into what they care about, but also helps them move the dial and move them along the journey. So that's really important. If you combine those two things, you will start to get a really clear understanding of the psychographics of your consumer, which is massively important. So let's talk about what good looks like. And specifically, I want to show you guys like a little bit of an example of what a good list actually is. So this is an example of a client of ours. They're a lovely, lovely couple called New Zealand Natural Clothing. They own several brick and mortar stores in New Zealand, and they also have an online shop. And they had an amazing presence in New Zealand, and they had a pretty good online shop. But I wanted to show you how you can kind of see in the Mother's Day campaign 2018, we had a pretty unengaged list when we first started working with them. And so what we did instead was we said, okay, we're going to make this into a good list. We're going to make this into an engaged list of people. We're going to talk about the things that they care about. We're going to build those psychographics up. We're going to get clear understanding of what this audience finds valuable. And we're going to provide that consistently with content that also brings traffic to the site. And so when we kind of started running this was around Mother's Day in 2018. You can see that they had about 29 orders for that campaign, about sort of $5,000 worth of stuff that came through, pretty okay. Then we started really ramping stuff up into, sorry, my slides have just jumped there. And could you help me get my slides back, pretty please? Just so that I can get back to where I was. That would be amazing. I don't even know if Anne is around anymore. I'll just chat to you guys anyway while we're going through. But pretty much, thank you. Pretty much what we saw happening was as we started creating consistent value add, we managed to increase the conversion rate of those seasonal campaigns by 38.5%. Which is pretty awesome, right? We like that kind of stuff. We did put some lead magnets in there. We did lots of different things, but it was focused on providing the information that the audience really cared about. And then last year in 2020, we'd had a full 18 months of really providing that value add. And we managed to increase that conversion rate by 358%. So it was pretty massive. And really the thing that we did was just focused on creating engagement within that list, providing the stuff that they're really interested in, understanding their psychographics, making sure we're talking about things in the appropriate way. That was the big change that we made, and the conversion rates speak for themselves. So that's the kind of thing that you're wanting to do. It's the kind of thing that psychographics can enable you to do, and understanding the types of things that your list really cares about. So I will always say that the thing that is 100% the biggest mistake that I see audiences make when it comes to building a list is not understanding what their list actually wants to see, and not understanding who their list is and how they want to be spoken to. Okay, so let's take a look at the must-have ingredients for list building. So right up there, number one, we have audience understanding. That is the most important thing that you can do for your list. If you don't understand what your audience cares about, you're going to have, an okay time. You're never really going to get those, massive conversion rates that you're looking for. But then number one from that is making sure that you have some kind of value exchange. So you have your base understanding of your audience, and then you need to make sure that when you've got traffic coming through to your site, you're driving traffic from social and you're making those interactions, you have to be able to lure people in for the sign up. You have to be able to give them something in exchange for getting them to sign up for something. And we call this the value exchange, and we call this lead magnets, right? So what are you going to exchange that is valuable for their email address? So the lead magnets is where that comes in. Number two, you must have some kind of sign-up form and a landing page for that signing form to be on, or a website. Because if you don't have a way to collect those email addresses, you're not going to be able to really grow this en masse. And then number three, you need to have some kind of CRM and marketing automation system to collect all of that information and then to be communicating with them after the fact. Now, this is where most businesses kind of stop. Most businesses don't really have very clear understanding of their audiences, but some of you do, and it's amazing. But most businesses stop here. They have the lead magnet, they have the sign-up forms, and they have the CRM and marketing automation system to communicate with afterwards. But then that's kind of all that they do. But we want to make sure that you guys aren't in that group, right? So number four, you must have some kind of communication, value add, and relationship building plan. We call that the customer journey, but it's got to be some kind of strategy that you are utilizing to making sure that you are communicating consistently, you're adding that value all the time, and you're keeping your audience engaged. And then finally, you must have good quality content. So this is where we start bringing in the content marketing aspect. Having good quality content that you can continually share with your audience means that they keep coming back for more, but you also position yourself as an authority. So those are the 5 things that you must have in place for, well, 6 things, including audience understanding, you must have in place for successful list building. Okay, Now, I want to show you some very specific strategies related to list building, and I'm also going to show you how you can put the cherry on the top. So for those of you who are a little bit more advanced, there'll be little bits in here for you guys as well. So the very first strategy is to just capture email signups. Now, this is fantastic if you have a website that already has traffic coming through. All you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting a sign up form on your site, and you're going to make it really obvious. Don't hide it away on your site. That's a big mistake we see people make. Make it really obvious and make it something that is worth signing up for. So signpost it on your site really clearly, but really make it an event. Make it something that people are really like, oh, I need that thing, right? So you've got to understand your audience in order to make it really clear what that is. Then put lead magnets in place. So when I talk about sign up form, generally people put up sign up forms for things like newsletters. Okay, so if you're having a newsletter in place, you've got to make it something really special, because I hate to break it to you, but no one wants your newsletter. Nobody gives a damn about your newsletter. They only care about the things that are important to them. So how do you make it something that is so exciting, or make your newsletter so awesome that they want to sign up for it? The other option is to just put lead magnets on the site as well, right? So have lots of things that people can sign up for, and utilize multiple lead magnets. We often see people have lead magnets on the site, but they don't have enough of them. So for people who are in different stages of awareness, or searching for different problems, maybe that one lead magnet that you've got isn't actually the thing that they're looking for. So make sure you've got lots of things. And definitely make sure it is catered to all those different awareness levels. So problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and most aware. So make sure you've got something that fits in all of those. You've got to think about the fact that if someone is problem aware, they're interested in understanding about their problem. But if they're all the way down the other side and they're like, you know, getting ready to buy, they're not interested in the problem right now. They've sussed that. They want to know exactly which product and which service they need to buy, and you can help them with a buyer's guide. So there's different types of lead magnets that you can create. Make sure that you've got a whole bunch of them. And then be aware of all those different entry points on your site and their accessibility. So make sure, do you have something on the homepage? Do you have really good call to actions in your blog posts? So if you're doing exactly what Fernando was talking about, and you're driving amazing content, you're driving amazing traffic through to that amazing content, and then there's no way for them to go, then you're going to have a bad time, right? So let's make sure we connect them together nicely. You have those strong call to actions, and you have places where people can sign up. Now, to put the rocket fuel on this, if you are just getting people to sign up for a newsletter, give it a name. Don't just say sign up to my newsletter. Say sign up to my blah, 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 the thing that they really want, the thing that they're excited to do, right? So give it a name and make it an event. Make it something that's exciting. And when you're talking about your lead magnets or your list, display your social positioning. So if you have thousands of people on your list, say join thousands of other marketers, business owners, shoe enthusiasts, whatever the case is, display that social positioning so people can see, oh, this isn't just someone who has a list of 10 people. This is somebody who has an engaged audience, and I want to be part of that in-group. So that social positioning, and by making it a really strong name, helps us understand how we can be part of the in-group. Then display your social proof along with that. So what I mean by that is, sell what you're talking about and collect lead magnet. Collect lead magnet testimonials. So when you're talking about, when you're talking about your lead magnets and you're wanting people to sign up, get little testimonials and put little bits of information on there so that people can see that other people are really enjoying that. I saw a really great landing page that had like 5 stars. It was like almost laid out like a movie trailer. It was fantastic because it showed that other people were joining this. They were signposting the right kind of people. So signposting who the in-group was and showing that those people that are in the in-group are really enjoying being on that list. So if you're going to capture email signups, add some rocket fuel and make it awesome. Okay, then this one is my favorite. This is what I call the trifecta, and that is blogs, organic traffic, and lead magnets. Now, content is the best way to heighten your position and create yourself as an authority in your industry. But it's also tapping into what we call the purchase formula in the brain. And it actually heightens the value, the value response that your brain gets when people think about your brand. So it is the best way to focus on continually optimizing and making sure that you're going to get that sale. So content marketing is amazing. So this is the strategy we utilize with all of our clients, is getting them creating blogs, driving organic traffic, and having lead magnets in place to sign up for stuff. And so what you must do is you must cater SEO intent to drive organic traffic. So you're not just looking for a keyword, you're also trying to understand why someone might be utilizing that keyword, so that when someone hits that page, it's all the right information. You've got to think about the fact that all Google cares about and all the various different search engines care about is literally matching up the right content to the right answer. So how do you be the right answer, right? How do you be the right answer to the question that people are asking? So understand your SEO intent, and then focus on educating and qualifying that traffic that's coming through. And that will continually prove your value, your positioning, and your authority. And then make sure that you're really bringing in those call to actions, and pepper your content with sign up options. Don't just put it at the bottom, put it all the way through so that people can see it. And finally, cater to all of those awareness levels with multiple lead magnets that follow on nicely from your content. And if you want to add that rocket fuel to it, make sure that you're combining that behavioral intent. So why would people be here? What are they searching for? With the SEO in your content plan, and things like product questions and all that kind of stuff, so that you are creating those longer form articles that are taking them on a bit more of a journey. And then daisy chain your content to keep people on your site for as long as possible and increase those conversion rates. And remember, like, the longer you can keep people on your site, the more likely they are to build a relationship with you and get to know, like, and trust you. So by daisy chaining, I mean, when they get to the end of an article, send them off to another article, send them off to more content if they don't take the call to action. And then sprinkle your content with micro case studies. So I'm not talking about a full-blown case study, just a nice little sentence like, our client got a 358% conversion rate by applying the strategy. That's a micro case study. You're not going hectic into it, but you're providing some social positioning. And definitely, if you're going to be sending them off to really nice lead magnets, use landing pages where you can really explain what the lead magnet is and sell it a little bit from your blog posts, and then collect those lead magnet testimonials so that people can really see that this is something awesome. Okay, strategy number 3 is webinars. Webinars are a fantastic lead magnet, a fantastic way to spend a little bit of time really solving a problem. So it's in-depth content to solve problems. It allows people to spend time with you, build a relationship with you, but also spend time with the problem. And you really get to add value by breaking that issue down and going into the nitty-gritty behind it. It also allows you to display your authority and your positioning by being able to spend a lot of time with something. And you can then capture that lead information on sign up, and you have your upsell opportunity at the end of the webinar. So they're a fantastic strategy. But if you want to put some rocket fuel on that, I would suggest that when you come up with your topics for your webinar, you use a little bit of search volume, use a little bit of SEO to validate the problem and make sure that this is actually something that your audience is interested in, and not just something that you know that they need, but they don't actually want. So definitely validate your problem with a little bit of SEO, and then advertise to make sure that people actually attend. So even after sign up, make sure that you're hyping them up for attendance. And I don't necessarily just mean by spending money on advertising, but in your email marketing, making sure that you're continually keeping people excited. And then encourage active participation on the webinar. So keep the questions going, encourage people to be active so that they're paying attention the whole way through. And then follow-up is always king for conversion with webinars. So we always say about 50% of the sales will be made on the webinar, but you can definitely get 50% off of the back of the webinar, if not a slightly more skewed percentage. And retargeting as well. After the webinar, definitely retarget for those extra conversion rates. And then number 4 is active social distribution. So focus on value adding on social media. Oh, hello, Anne. Sorry, you gave me a fright. You made me jump my slides there. So value add on social media. Make sure that you are distributing your content repeatedly, so you're getting stuff out there all the time. And show up where your audience hangs out to make sure that you can have that useful and helpful content out there. And if you really want to add some rocket fuel to your social distribution, take your content and splinter it for a bit more impact. So turn it into images, turn it into GIFs, turn it into little sound bites, take videos and turn them into blog posts. You can repurpose your content, and you can chop them up into smaller little pieces of content, and you can distribute it further, driving back to the main piece of content. That's fantastic for blogs. And then use content and lead magnets in your outreach. So if you're doing outreach, make sure that you're utilizing your content there as well to increase that little bit of trust factor. And then repurpose your content for LinkedIn articles if you have a B2B audience. It's a fantastic way to get ahead. And then number 5 is advertising. So driving paid traffic to content that already converts. So if you have content that's already doing a really great job, chuck some advertising on it and see how that mixes things up a little bit. So identify your top converting content and then drive ads through just to see how it works. And remember, use lots of different types. You can use social ads, you can use your search-driven ads as well, but then you also have physical ads. Don't forget, that's a thing that exists. And also you have paid promotion, like paying to go and talk somewhere or be somewhere. Paid promotion is a fantastic way to get in front of audiences. If you want to put a little bit of rocket fuel on that, use search intent as well as volume. Search intent is always the little behavioral bit that we always forget about. Make it really easy to engage with your content, so make it really clear and explicit, and have those call to actions really nice and strong and keyed into that interest, keyed into that behavior, and just make sure you're catering things through to awareness levels as well. And retargeting from people who have come through from ads can be really powerful in increasing your ROI. Okay, so let's round all of that up. If you add value, people will want to sign up for your list, right? That is the number one piece of advice that I can give you, is focus on adding value to your audience. But know thine audience in order to be able to provide value. So make sure that you know who they are really clearly so you can provide the right kind of value. And lead magnets in all of this are definitely going to be your best friend to get them to sign up, to provide that value. And content marketing is your other best friend, right? To drive that traffic through. And then don't listen to all the hacks and stuff that people put up there. Just focus on what works for you. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Kenda. Lots of really interesting questions for you to answer in the next session, in the Q&A. That was really informative. Just as a little bit of a confirmation of Kenda's strategy, I don't know whether you guys realize we produced the A10 marketing framework about 18 months ago. We printed 1,000 copies just before lockdown, which was incredibly frustrating, as it's a physical brochure, which a lot of people have got copies of. But we've had over 2,000 copies of that downloaded, and actually, in some cases, the cost of a download from Facebook and Instagram is lower than the cost of click in Google. So it can be a really, really effective way of building lists and also providing really useful information. So yeah, lots of love for you there, Kenda, and lots of questions for you to answer. So thank you very, very much. I think I've got Yanis waiting in the wings. He's just joining us now. So as Yanis joins us, but thank you, Kenda. Say goodbye to your cat for me.
I'm settled down now.
Excellent.